Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. Today we're going to make some beautiful little flowers. I don't even know if you can actually see them. I've got lots of bits on my fingers, so excuse my inky hands, but if I bring them up a little bit closer like that, hopefully, in fact it's probably better if I bring it up on the paper, isn't it? Let me bring them up on the paper so you can see, because they're quite small, but hopefully, wait for it to focus. You can see they've got all sorts of bits of gold and stuff like that, and I don't know whether that's focusing very well, but they are really rather beautiful, and that's what we're going to make today. So I'm just going to try and zoom you in a little bit. Got to remember to zoom you out afterwards. So can I bring that down about there? That's better, isn't it? So you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so let's start with that, and then we're going to make a beautiful card, and I hopefully will remember to zoom you out. Easy to do these. We need 2 punches. So this is the Petal Park Builder punch, and this is a little circular flower punch. Any little punches that you might have would work, but these are the ones that I just happen to have. So I'm going to just do a couple to show you. So you just basically cut or punch out a few of these ones. And then I'm just using this little flower at the top. So again, I tend to try and do it so that I'm not wasting too much paper. I will cut it to exactly the right size if I need to. I'm literally just, whoops, make sure it's all in on there. Okay, so we've got 2 of those that we can do. Okay, the next thing we want to do, so coloured cardstock is a key, because then you tint it and it works really well. So I have just got a couple of, these are watercolour pencil brushes. You could use alcohol markers, you could use anything you want. Now I'm using on this, it's sort of a pinky cerise, and I'm just literally doing a blob in the centre. It doesn't have to be precise at all. So just with a pale. And then this darker one, which is a more of a red, it is Faber-Castell, and the colour on this is Pink Carmine, and this one is Middle Purple Pink, but basically they're both pinkies. This is slightly darker, so I'm doing that round the outside, and then doing that round the outside of here. And again, you don't have to be overly precise. And then I'm doing this one darker. Now, by colouring your cardstock, even though it is a colour, it just gives that deeper tone. You could do it in white, but you're not going to get the same sort of look. Then the next thing we need to use, and I've been using these a lot, these are Posca pens. They're water-based permanent marker, and these are a selection of silver and gold, black and white, and they're the ones that you'll probably use more than anything. Ball bearing inside, just give them a little shake. And then for this, we are going to just go round the outside like this. And again, it doesn't have to be overly precise. You just want a bit round the outside. So you can take it down, or you can just sort of scribble it round a bit. If it comes over a little bit more, it doesn't matter. So hopefully you can see this in here. Just making sure that you can. Yes, you can. Good. And then again on the little one in the centre. So you're literally just going round on the outside. And as I say, you can see I'm not being overly precise on this. You don't have to. Okay, so that's got those two, and you carry on and do the other ones. I'm not going to do those ones. I'm just going to do one to show you. Then what you need to do is you need to get yourself one of these slightly sort of foam, you can see this is a foam based mat, or anything that's got a bit of give in it. And then I always use, you don't need any special tools or anything. I use the bottom of a paintbrush. This is a favourite paintbrush because it's got a nice rounded end. And what you want to do is you want to go in just either side to just start breaking the fibres, and then in on the centre. And if you sort of roll it round a bit as well and just press it, you will see that you get a really nice little cup shape, and the more you press it, the deeper it will get. And again with this one, now what I tend to do is I'll put a tiny little blob of glue just in the center. I would use wet glue because then you can just direction it just in the center. Says me trying to get a, come on. Oh, I was using this only a minute ago. It's a new one as well. There we are, a little blob of glue in there. And then with this one, if you're using your paintbrush, you can just take the center and push it in, and then pick it up with the paintbrush, or with whatever. You can use a pen or anything like that. And then we're just going to pop it into the center like that. And then you'll put that to one side to dry. But you can see you've got this lovely little shaped flower. So I'm not going to use that one because it'll need a moment to dry. And just carry on and make a whole pile of them. I'm not quite sure how many I've made, probably about 9, I think. So that would make 10. And now we're going to do a card with it. So let me just bring myself back out because we're very close. So let me just, whoops. Hopefully you're not getting dizzy. Bring it back to how it should be, straighten ourselves up. Okay, and what I've done is, this is a square card, so this is just shy of 6 by 6 inches across there, so it's 12 by 6, and I get them in packs. I've just cut this is a 5.5 inch square to go on top, and I've just cut out of here a circle with a circle die. And again, it doesn't matter what size. If you haven't got any circles, then you can use a plate, a mug, a cup, anything you want to draw around it, and then use a craft knife or something. So that's going to go on here. Now I want to do something for these flowers to go onto, so I'm just putting it out of the way. So I'm using one of my absolutely favourite stamp sets. I use this and I will never ever get rid of it. It is just my favourite, which is very Versailles. You can't buy it anymore, but I'm sure if you haven't got it and you'd really like it, you can probably get it on one of the selling sites. They do come up from time to time. But any leaf, if I show you, any leaf or foliage would work. So I'm using this one because I know that it's got the look that I want. So what I'm doing is I want both of these pieces to go in on here. So let me just put this, and I am putting it up this, no I'm not, I'm putting it up this way because I actually find that it works for me. It actually stamps better that way. So whatever positioning tool is your current favourite, and we're going to put both pieces in on here because I want it to come up exactly. In fact, we need it this side, don't we? Okay, because what I want is for this to go down. So we're going to have one coming up this way like that. Take it through on the center and pick it up. Oh, now I tell you what I need to do. I've got this on to, I need to take this piece off because I'm using it with red rubber. and I had it on with the one for photopolymers. So I'm going to put this on here, make sure it's quite firm, and then let me just see whether that's in the right position or not. That'll work fine. Okay, so I've taken a couple of greens. I've got this green is one of my favourites, so it is Granny Apple Green. It's quite a nice vibrant appley green, but again, any green that you've got and any foliage that you've got doesn't have to be a precise one. So I'm just literally inking that one up, and I'm going to put it down in on here. And then I just want to make sure, particularly on this seam line, so I just want to make sure that it's come down nicely, particularly, as I say, on the join, which is why using a platform is perfect, because you can see I need to do it just a little bit more. And if you do it a couple of times, you can then get it quite nice and vibrant. So let's put this on here. I might stand up a little bit for this, so I can then give it a good old press in. Let that ink soak in nicely. And let's see what that one's like. That's better. And then I think I want it to come down a little bit more. I've got that on there, but I definitely want it to come down. I might actually turn it. I need to clean it off nicely, because what I want to do is to make sure that I haven't got any green ink on when I'm going to try and position this. So I'm just cleaning it off like that, and then I'm just going to make sure that I dried it off on here so it's not showing any ink, which there was a little tiny bit of it, so that's quite good that I cleaned it first. And then do I put it down? No, I'm actually going to try and take it up I want a little bit more on there, but I don't want it to be too inked. Okay, so I'm going to do it from out to there. So into that corner, pick it up gently, because I don't want, in case there's any on there. And then I just want to be inking up the tail end of it. So let me just ink that like that, and then see where that's going to come, because I don't want it to come over the top. So I think I need to just take it out a little bit. We can just take this one out here like that, and then with a bit of luck that will come down on here, and it's not going to come over the top. If it does, we'll cover it with flowers, so you don't have to be overly worried about it. But let's give this a good old press, then I don't have to do it again. Let's have a little look and see. That's fine. I took that little bit off, didn't I? That's going to be fine. I'm going to put some flowers and things there. Okay, so we've now got the branch coming all the way down, and that's the only thing that I need to do with the stamping platform. So I can move that out of the way, put that there. I'll clean that up later on. And then we can come back onto here. Okay, so we now know that this fits exactly. A little bit of pink cardstock in there. It fits exactly on here, which is what we want. And as I say, we've got a little bit on there, but that doesn't matter. We're going to have a flower on it. So what I want to do now is I just want to add a little bit of colour where I'm going to do the flowers. So I have got, I think, 10 flowers. I want to take this, so this is now coming up like this. So I need to make sure that I have got some foam pads to go in on here, and then that's going to take it up to the top. So let me just grab some, I want some quite thick foam pads. I think these ones look quite good. You can use sheets if you want to, but because it's just going to go up and I've got lots of these, I don't need to be too frugal with them. So I always put them in on the edges. And then one in between here. Might have a couple down on here. So don't be frugal with them, because you want it to be, you don't want it to be wavy. And I think that's the difficulty. Sometimes you can get it so it's a little bit wavy and then it's not particularly good. So just spend a little bit of time doing it. And then I can put some of these up near the actual center part, like that. It's quite a nice geometric pattern now, doesn't it? And then we'll have one in on here. So again, you've got enough that there's not going to be any warpage going on, because the last thing you want is for it to be all bowed and buckled. But it gives you that just little bit of height in there, which will make all the difference to the flowers. And if you wanted to, you could put a little gem inside each one, but to be quite honest, as we've already got the gold on there, I think if you put that on, it would be just a little bit too much. So I'm not. And I've just thought, before I did all of this, I was going to go around the edge with the gold pen. So I might actually see if I can do that, even though I've got all the sticky on. So before I do it, because I don't want it to be too bright, I'm just going to take, close that ink pad up. I'm just going to take my gold pen that we were using for colouring. And again, you can use anything around the edges, but rather than having to mass and layer, if we're trying to be a little bit more frugal, if you take your any form of gold pen, and all you're going to do is to just go round the side. Just take the pen on the side and just go round. Now you need to be a little bit careful, says me who's just inked it. I would normally do it before I put my pads on, but I forgot, so just shows it doesn't matter too much. All I'm doing is just giving a little bit of gold to the edge. Don't want a lot, because I want this to be quite clean and simple and just very pretty. So I'm literally just sticking myself together with this, just going around the edges. So do it before you put your dimensionals on the back, or your sticky foam pads. There we go. Now I could do it inside, but I don't think I'm going to, because I think that will make it look a bit messy. Yes, because I'm going to have the flowers round on there. So sometimes it's that less is more. You know, I keep saying my less is more, and then I don't do it. So if you open it up flat, it's sometimes easier to align it up. Now, we know where this is going to come, because we've got all of these pieces in on here. So what we need to do is to just make sure that we've got it as near as we can. and then just put it down like that. So we've now got a nice little window on there, and it's all stuck down with the foam pads, and it's nice and flat. Give that an extra bit of crease. I would use my bone folder for that, but I'm not. Let me do the other side. There we go. So that's still lying a bit. I'm just going to grab my bone folder. I've got a little one here, that'll do. So that it lies a bit flatter, so it's easier for us to put the pieces on that we want. So just lie that flat, and then that, you can see that's lying a lot flatter now. Could do this side as well. There we go. Okay, so now we need to just put our little flowers on. Now, if I stuck them with glue, it's going to take a while for them to go. So the easiest thing I find is to use some glue dots. So let me just grab, it says me, whenever you want to find your, here we go. There we go. I was looking, before I got what I thought was glue dots out before, and they were globes. But the easiest thing, as I say, is to just take your little flower and put a glue dot on it, and then you can pick it up, and then you know you can position it wherever you want it. Now I'm going to put some in on here, because that was the bit that we didn't really stick properly. So and there's another little space down there as well, so I'm just going to take the glue dots in here, take that out, and then we'll have another one down in on here like that, because then you know that they are going to sit nicely where the because they've got glue dots on them. Make sure that they're, and then, as I say, just position them where you want. Why that one is like, doesn't really want to be, I might have to put another glue dot in there. Those have gone all right. This one's a bit, it's better. Don't know why my glue dot on here is rolled up onto the actual, let's take that off, onto the actual card, and wasn't sitting properly, so just make sure that it comes in flat. That's better. Now that was going to go there, wasn't it? That's it. So yes, you can make sure you've got your glue dots coming in centered. These are particularly small ones, so you could actually do with slightly bigger glue dots if you've got them. I'm just using up these ones, but I think I will get some slightly bigger ones next time, because they tend to work a bit better. Let's put that on. Now, is that rolling up again? No, that's okay. So I want some just like in on the edge. And this is the bit, now you spent all the time in doing it, when you come to make your card, just spend a little bit of time. You know me, I try not to rush very much. I don't like rushing. So I just try and put it in nicely. And you know that I always do my videos so that they are in live time. So if you want to craft along with me, you can. And I know some of you do, which is lovely. So, and I know I do all sorts of different things, and I know some things are more some people's cup of tea than others, but I like to, as a crafter, I like to experiment in all sorts of different ways. So I like all sorts of different styles, and it allows me to then experiment and play around with different crafts and different ideas, and so you'll see all sorts on my channel, which I hope will appeal to some of you, and you can watch those ones and others won't, so you can then go and do something, you know, watch a different one. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that we're a little bit balanced here. I've got another 2 left, so I might put one there and then maybe one up in on there. I think that'll work perfectly. So where was it, that one? But you can see how pretty they are. You can make as many as you want, make them in all different colours. You know, put it on red cardstock as a mat, and you could have it as a Christmas rose. I know we're not quite sort of Christmas time yet. I know a lot of people do Christmas in July, but I really can't do Christmas in July. I know people buy their products then, so fair enough. But for me, until it starts getting cold, once it starts getting cold, then I'll go like, oh yes, it's time. Okay, so we can now just sort of fiddle around with those, and we've got these beautiful, beautiful flowers in there, which are all really rather nice. And all I would then add is a sentiment in there. You could put, if you wanted to, just a little bit of colour around the outside of the petal, so that it's you know, it just sort of sits there a bit, so that you can get, if you just take a little bit of colour, you can go just around the side with a little bit of pink if you wanted to. I don't know whether I would. I think they look nice like that. I quite like that sort of very clean and simple look to it. But it's entirely up to you how you want to finish it. But I thought that that looks just so pretty with those little flowers hanging down there. And as I say, nice little sentiment. You've got the little bit of gold going on there, so it looks very classical. And I hope you enjoyed it. So, as always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.